Right, so good evening, everyone, to all the students and the faculty members of GIT and everyone else not of
Yeah,
GIT who is
yeah, it is
watching
there.
the stream. Good evening, and welcome to this one of a kind event that is being launched right now.
Now,
So,
now, now it is live streaming. Yeah, it is there.
yes, sir, it is. So, we are coming from Gandhinagar Institute of Technology. That's an engineering college based in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar. We have tied up with GitHub, which is a subsidiary of Microsoft Incorporation, a US based multinational firm, which was founded by the guy who found Linux, or the Linux is named after actually, right? And we, GID, has done a unique collaboration or a unique partnership with GitHub, such that the major beneficiary or the total benefits of this whole partnership is going to be the students and only the students of GIT. So today, to discuss all that, what is Git, what is GitHub, how does everything work, and so on, we have a few of our alumni and obviously our director, sir, present in this meeting that you see. We'll kick off the event with a brief introduction about what GitHub is, and we'll then shift over to a discussion that why you as a student or why you as a programmer or why you as a developer has the need of having an account with Git or GitHub or any other technology of similar kind or a version control to be very generic and specific. Why is that important for your professional life? Specifically looking at the current changing scenario of where everyone will be working remotely. Right? So let's begin with the program. We'll start with introduction of the panelists. I would request all of them just to say their name and just to wave to the audience. We'll start with Mr. Vishal Shah,
Uh, Hi all.
Mr. Varun Bhatt,
Hey there, I'm Varun. Hope you have a nice stream.
Mr. Suraj Jala, his mic was off, not a problem. Mr. Rasesh Saraiya,
Hi everyone, this is Rasesh.
Mr. Tushar Dudhatra,
Hello everyone.
Mr. Ankur Mitra,
Hey guys.
hi. And one of the current student, Pranav Kevalani, is here to help us with the live stream needs. Right. We are joined here by our director, sir, Dr. H.N. Shah,
Hello.
who himself is an educationalist and is a technology enthusiast, who makes sure that even though he's being of mechanical branch, he takes a very keen interest in the latest upcoming technologies of computer and IT departments and pushes all of us to go ahead and achieve more. There was one, it was through many meetings that I had with him that this whole thing came through the collaboration of GIT with GitHub and the today's session that you're seeing. So we'll have a few words from our director, sir, and then we'll move on to the question answer sessions. Director, sir, on to you.
Thank you, Professor Mitul. Good morning to all the persons sitting in the US. Good afternoon to the person sitting in Germany. And the good evening to all the sitting in India. All resource persons, head of the departments, my faculty members, dear students, participants, and the participants other than GIT. Welcome to all in with GitHub. This GitHub is now is a subsidiary of Microsoft company, and this partner program is under the Campus Partner Program. So what I heard that almost 2.9 million business and organizations uses GitHub platform or their products. GitHub is I can say it's a one common platform in which any person from a particular team can contribute and suggest through tool available. With teamwork, people can solve their problems and prepare some productive solutions. You can say GitHub is one kind of repositories available for open source community. As an engineer, one should know the importance of teamwork. So this is a platform where every person can work in a team. Then and then productivity of the particular industry will be improved vertically. And in lesser time, one can get the solutions. So by joining the programs, definitely students will get the free access to paid tools available on GitHub, DigitalOcean, Microsoft Azure, AWS, other Arduino creator programs, etc. So this is a major benefit of the programs. Now under this program, just before lockdown, GIT has received a welcome kit in which we received the license keys, stickers, some leaflets, etc. for the students' activities in the GIT campus. So such kind of programs in the institute definitely will prepare and make aware the students with latest technology, platforms or tools, which finally turn into the industry-ready engineer. Also helps the students for their placement too. Furthermore, I can say that helps the students to move abroad for their overall development of professional life. While on the other side, industry will get the prepared engineers who are already aware of such platform, and hence they will more comfortable to do work with very efficiently and confidently in their professional life. So from our institute, Professor Maniar is leading the activity and will work as a spoke under GIT GitHub Club. No doubt GitHub is giving designations as a campus campus advisor. So one can say Professor Mitul Maniar is a campus advisor of this particular GitHub club. So my appeal to all the students for take a part and join a GIT GitHub club and take a maximum benefits. So not much taking the time. Finally, I'm just congratulating the Professor Mitul, Professor Bhatt, head of the department, all head of the other department and all alumni even, particularly Mr. Suraj, Mr. Rasesh Saraya, Mr. Vishal Shah, Mr. Tushar Dutatra and Mr. Ankur. They are right now on board. And of course, backbone behind the curtain, Professor Minita Nisal. She is alumni coordinator who directly supported in this formation of this club in the institute. So thank you very much. And once again, welcome to the GIT GitHub Club. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such amazing words for opening the event. Is my mic? Yeah, mic. So thank you, sir, for such amazing words for opening the event. I think now we should move on to one of the most awaited questions that we have been having since we've started this, and especially since last 2 days. A lot of students have reached out asking whether what is Git, what is GitHub, and how they should apply for this program, and how will it work for them? What is their benefit? So I'll just give a very brief introduction what it is, and then we'll have a detailed discussion about how it is going to affect their professional life, how it is going to change and shape their professional life by using such an industry standard tool. Right. So as I already explained a little bit before, and if you have missed, not a problem, welcome back. Git is an open source tool which lets you have version control. And what do you mean by version control? In very simple words, you're writing a piece of code from your home and you have to send it to your friend who is writing another piece of code for the same program, right? And he suggests some changes. How do you exchange the files? Usually, if it's just like one person or like 2-3 people, a small team, you do it by emails or like send it by pen drives if you're working physically nearby. But since nowadays you are not, you have to rely on certain mechanisms which let you share, collaborate, edit, access all of your code online with a specific set of people if you want, or with the whole wide world if you want. That is where the openness of this is. So that is what GitHub is. Now, what is the benefit of this program? As principals have already said, that by this partnership, the major benefactors of the program are the students of GIT, who will get access to all the premium tools, which are usually paid. They will be getting free access to Microsoft Azure services. They'll be getting free access to AWS services. They'll be getting free access to Node services, name servers, and a lot of other things. 70 other things. I don't remember each and every one of them. 70 other things are available to all the students of GIT who can now apply for it and get the advantage of it. They can start building their own websites. They can start building their own specific blogs if they want. They can start having their own, running their own private servers, private repositories. They can do anything that they want, right? So without taking much of your time now, we'll be moving on towards your panelists, and we'll be having a short round of question answers wherein they, who have been industry veterans, we have people with 9 years of industry experience, right, who are team leaders. And we have people with the profile of software developers or senior software developers or even network analysts, right? We'll hear it from them, with their own words, how this application of GitHub or any kind of version control has helped them or has destroyed some lives or some projects in certain cases, right? So let's start with our question answer session. And first question I would like to ask is to one of the most senior person present over here, Mr. Vishal Shah. All right, so you know the audience right now. They're all majority of them are students or to-be developers, right?
Yeah,
you are a team leader, and so these are possible ones, new recruits for you. So, and they do not know what is version control.
Sure.
So would you be kind enough to explain to us, like, what is this hullabaloo that we have about, like, why do we need a version control? What is version control?
Yeah, sure. So, let me explain it a very simple way, that what is the version control. So if I have to describe the version control in a very simple, or let's say even one word, then I will say it's magic. Now, let me come to the point that why I'm calling it as a magic. So let me give you an example. I'm giving you a pen and a paper, and I'm telling you to write an essay on that paper. So you have started writing an essay on that paper, and you actually used the whole page of that paper. And now I'm telling you to write a second essay on the same page. Is it possible? So if you had used a pencil, then yeah, you can erase that whole thing and write it back. The essay number 2. Now, let me ask you that I actually needed the essay number 1 that you have previously wrote. Is it possible to get that back? I don't think so. But if you have used a version control with your page, then actually you are able to get that back. Actually, the version control is nothing but a system that actually records all the changes of your files that you are making. And you can easily go to any changes and get that back. So in other way, if I have to tell that, in short, the same way the Avengers, go in back to kill Thanos, I think you can do the same. Yeah.
That's a really nice analogy. Like, yeah, everyone is going to be able to relate to Avengers and Thanos and how we need to go back in time. We'll moving on to one of our foreign panelists that we have, the nearest foreign one, that is Germany for now. We are still not going to USA, right? Okay, so Mr. Tushar.
Hi everyone. And it was a really great analogy, Vishal. Yeah, a really good example. And version control, yeah, I cannot stress enough, students, how important this is. Version controlling. Version controlling is basically when you are in a team of 10 to 12 members or 10 to 12 colleagues. You all are working on the same service. You don't want to be blocked by the thing that one person is working on one file, so you can't work on that particular file. So you everyone can work on the same file together. Everyone can, no one is blocked. So that's one important thing. I mean, we save a lot of time by that. We work parallelly on the same file, on the same service. Everything is possible. Yeah, we can resolve conflicts afterward if any occurs. That's one benefit. And the other benefit is, like Vishal said, you can track each and everything. With version control, you can never lose a single line of code. That's the most important thing, I feel. Yeah, if you are writing a code which I specifically working in a company which is 10 years old, and it's one of the biggest fashion company in Europe. We have huge code base. Yeah, and if I am writing a code, and if I want to go through the code which was written in the very beginning of the company phase, I can take a look at the code which was written 10 years ago. I can go back there. I can actually go back there and I can pull that code back. So that's really a magic, and that's really important. When you go to the professional life, it's amazing, and you cannot survive without that. To be honest, it's really like I said, I cannot stress it enough to get master in version controlling. Yeah, that's my opinion about version controlling.
Yeah. So Tushar, keeping on with you, so why do you think the students, like the current batch of students, right? Why do you think that they do need to learn this thing while they are in institute, while they are in college yet?
Yeah, so to be honest, when I was in college, I didn't have chance to be part of such program. So when I directly moved to the company after graduating, I was working with bunch of talented people. They all were using GitHub, this Git and GitHub technologies. So the main thing is, when you're working with real code, when you're working in production, Git has its own advantages and Git has its own drawbacks as well. If you don't use Git properly, you may lose code. You may get into trouble as well. I mean, it will take time to resolve conflicts, to get back code that you erased accidentally. So if you master these all things when you are a student, it will really help in professional life. When you go to the company, you can already. So this is Git is basically one thing that is must to have when you are working in a company, but it's not available as a separate course. It's not a subject in a syllabus, even though it's really important. So if you can get a chance to learn this in college, when you just graduate and you go to the company, you are already master in that, and that will impress all your colleagues. I assure you that. So you will make less mistakes, and if you are when you are in college, you may afford to lose some code. Yeah, you may afford to make some mistakes. And when you are working in a company, your code is live. You are working on live code, live application. You cannot afford to make these mistakes. And if you make these mistakes, you have to stay awake till 2 a.m. in the morning, and you have to fix this, right? Because you cannot afford to have bugs in production. So it's really amazing that you all students are getting a chance to work or learn this technology. That's amazing.
Yeah, I do have few points about like staying up at 2-3 a.m. in the night. So
Sure.
like that has happened with all of us over here, specifically in GIT and specifically during Tech Fests. And Tech Fest reminds me of our next panelist, Mr. Varun.
Yes.
So would you like to shed some light on like why do we need version control, and what were we people doing till 3 or 4 a.m. in the night, coding the whole night and coming back to the college the next day and realizing that what I did in my file and what you did in your file now does not work together?
Yeah, it's like a good point that Tushar. Can I call you Tushar? Mr. Duttara Tushar raised that the current global climate requires that we stay at home and work, which is kind of difficult because if you look at it in this way, what happened was we all went home and worked on HTML, CSS, PHP, SQL using MySQL, and a little bit of Node and JavaScript. And because all of these are all different languages that interact with both on the front end, that is the front end, that is the graphical portion of the website, and the back end, the server side, these technologies don't like to interact with each other that much. There are a lot of compatibility issues, and there are a lot of again version control issues. So what happened was Suraj used to work on a piece of code because Suraj was on my team at that time. Suraj used to work on a piece of code. Another alumni by the name of Nikhil used to work on another piece of code, and I used to work on another piece of code. And we used to come to the campus and then put all of it together, and none of it worked simply because none of us knew what the other person was doing. And since all the hands were not talking to each other, there were always conflicts between these programs, which led us to again staying up until 3 a.m. the next day, which basically led to an unhealthy cycle. So yeah, I'd say it's important, and I like the Thanos reference. I'd say Doctor Strange using the time stone is a much accurate reference, but I'll take the Thanos one.
Okay, Varun. So that was a nice thing. Like, yeah, we did have a nickname for Nikhil, didn't we?
Yeah, God. Yep.
Yeah, like
We did.
it's a bit unfortunate that he could not join us for this session because he was a bit preoccupied. He told, but yeah, he would have been a really good thing. So yeah, keeping on with the theme of the tech fests, Rasesh.
Sure.
So yeah, would you please share like why do we need version control or what is version control, and like as a student, why does one need to even care about that part?
Absolutely. So, as Tushar and Varun mentioned, it's very important to have version control. So, I would just share some more light on what is it and why do we need it moving forward. Basically, moving from academic to corporate world, making small mistakes could lead to a disastrous situations in your career. I have experienced for mine as well, so we'll share that later. But it's very important to learn these basics as a software engineer or as a software developer moving forward, because this is a very basic thing that any company you go out and work for after your graduation is going to be using this type of version controlling. It could be any type of version controlling, but they are going to use this version controlling to control their projects and their repositories out on their while you are working on these projects. It would be difficult to get adjusted at that time, and going back and learning these basics while you are like getting settled to the corporate world and bringing like more disastrous situations based on your nuances of learning these things rather than working on the actual project and getting stuck with this. Okay, how do I revert my code? How do I push my code? How do I make changes? How do I commit in a way that it's how do I add the message into the commit, or like how do I amend my commits? So this all these things would be like new for you guys, but you guys would know in the demo session later on. But basically, this things would come up once you guys go ahead and live in the corporate world and work on big projects, which is like 1,500 files or like 2,000 files, and then you have to go and work on those projects. So moving from 10, 15 files in your academic projects to 1,500 files, it's very important to maintain those files and have a way to control those files, because anyone on your team, like as Tushar mentioned, that there is a team of like 12 or 13 engineers working with you, and you don't know who is working on what. It could be that somebody is working on the same file as you are working on, and you made some changes that someone might not know. So today you made some changes to the code, and next day that person would come and made the other changes. But at least because of this version control, they would know that something has changed before merging your changes to the same repository and overriding your changes, they would know that, okay, I need to fix this issue or else it's going to be a conflict moving forward. So yeah, it's very important for you guys to learn this, and you guys should be grateful that GIT is giving you guys this opportunity to learn this at an early stage in your career, and you should take this opportunity and reach out to Mitul Maniar or any of the professor who is in charge of giving you guys the access, and learn how you guys can do it in the early stage of your career. Thanks.
That was a nice summarization of from what corporate does and bringing it down to what is a student's need. Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Vishal, would you like to add something to this, if possible?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I used, actually that's the reason why I used the Thanos example, because if I actually use the Doctor Strange example, then actually there would be many conflicts in our branches because the way the Doctor Strange moves, it's very fast from the future to past. So that's why actually I used the Thanos example. And I actually wanted to, discuss the things that what is the need of version control. So I think, let's say, think the other way around, that what if the version control is not there? So for example, there is a team, 6 or 7 people's team working on the same project. And so if the version control is not there, there are 2 ways. The first way is they will use the shared folder. So if they use the shared folder, there is a chance of overwriting the files of each other. So that will not work. And the other way is to have the folders in their local computers and they can start work. But after completing the project or after completing the task, they have to merge those files. And that would be a very tedious job if you don't have a version control, because a version control like Git will automatically merge your code and only give a conflict if there is a change of two or more than 2 team members on the same line. So that is why the collaboration will work very nicely with the version control. And as I said in the previous point, the restoring to the previous version is very easy with the Git. Now, I would like to add one more point, that once the task, if you don't use the version control, once the task gets finished in your local, you have to upload that online using FTP or other tools. So at that point of time, you have to upload the files directly on the live server if you don't use the version control. But if you use the version control, that gives you an ability to just write some few commands, and yeah, the code is there on the live server. And on the side note, the backup is also there, because you don't have to take up your project's backup manually every time, because whenever you commit anything in the Git, the snapshot of your project will be taken. So there is no need to backup. Yeah, over to you, Mithun.
Yeah. Let me guess your favorite movie or the favorite movie series.
Yeah, it's definitely Avengers.
Yes, exactly. Right. And why do you not like Doctor Strange?
No, I like it very much. But the Thanos example is very much
It's more relatable one, because he goes back in time only once.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, from the characters, I like only the Thor.
Okay. So I guess we might see some comments or questions like, what about Avengers and not about Git? Okay. So yeah, moving on with this further questions that we have. Suraj, I have a question for you.
बताइए.
So we heard about things like Git, GitHub from the senior developers that we have in our presence right now, right? The senior professionals that we have. So for someone like you who's been actively doing Git, GitHub since your college days and has to work professionally about it. So yeah, are there any alternatives to Git or GitHub or something like that, or is it just like the one and sole thing?
Well, I mean, so there's perhaps 2 layers that you have to look at here. Git is a form of version control, and I don't know, it really depends on the sort of organization you work in and what their policies are regarding DevOps. If I'm not wrong, I have a friend who I think used to work in Tatasoft, and some of their teams did use Mercurial. I think you mentioned Mercurial or SVN. Is that right, Vishal?
Yeah, some of the team are also using Mercury and SVN. Yes.
Yeah. So that then is a completely different version control system. And then again, this is not isolated with Tattosoft, but then there are organizations that internally might use either GitHub, which then is completely stored on GitHub servers, or a local machine running a GitLab instance, or perhaps Bitbucket if they prefer a very strong integration with Atlassian's Jira.
Yeah.
So then you have two different layers. You have different types of version control, and you have different implementations of the Git version control system. GitHub is just that. It's one of the implementations of Git version control system that it has its strengths, but you can't run your own GitHub instance locally as perhaps say GitLab would allow you to, or you might not have as strong task management system integration as Bitbucket allows. But yeah, that's about it. GitHub is a service. GitHub is a service provider that provides Git to you as a service. It's software as a service. Git is the version control system, and that is a very important distinction to make. So
Hi. So, Rastesh, you've been working in the US, and before this whole call started, you shared your work experience. You have been working with multiple companies till date. So, yeah,
Yep.
what are various version control systems have you seen over the years being implemented in various other companies? And like, does everyone use GitHub, or are there any alternatives that you have seen about or that you know about?
Yeah, as Suraj mentioned, there are different version control systems being used all over the places. I have mostly used Git, GitHub, and the Bucket, uh, and I never got chance to work on any other version control system so far. But I'm sure like people would be using. But I think people are moving towards the one which are simplest ones, and most of it I have used is the Git because I think, according to me, it's pretty much simple to use.
Yeah, most of us can agree to that thing. So all these are the perspectives of industry professionals who have been working professionally, right? Who have been writing code and getting paid for it. But let's talk about the crowd which writes code and does not get paid for it. That is you, the student. So let's call in the student that we have in this call, Varun. So yeah, currently he's a master's student. And so Varun,
Yeah.
you have seen two different educational systems, right? You have been through
Mm-hmm.
Indian education system, and you are now currently part of the US education system, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, can you shed some light that like are everyone using version control, and what are the various options that one can have as a student? Like right now, sure, we heard from the stage that various other things are used, but most of people prefer to use simpler ones. So in the education system, foreign education system, USA one specifically, where most of our students are going to go within an year or two, right? So yeah, what can they expect during their education while they're pursuing the masters over here, there? What can they expect in terms of various version control systems to be used?
I mean, first of all, it's really important to acknowledge the fact that uh, GitHub is being provided as an enterprise version to students, because that's a really valuable tool. Because how do I put this? There are several version control systems. There's Git, there's GitHub, there's Mercurial, there's SVN. The entire culture of version control originated from Bitkeeper when Linus was using it. But the students that work on projects here are usually solo projects. So they're very less team projects. Or even if they're team projects, it's going to be like teams of twos and threes. So version control kind of takes a different turn when it comes to like a modular teams, like very small teams. Because when there are very small teams, you have opportunities to sit side by side and work together. So some of the things that Git and GitHub provide for larger teams or bigger companies or larger amounts of code don't really apply. So in that case, what I like is it's something that I've been wanting to stress on, and something that I think is super important is that learn version control before you come here 100%, especially if you're going to pursue education into any computer related field, because there's going to be a lot of coding, there's going to be a lot of projects, like you're going to be swamped with projects every single week, and every single week you need to keep track of which project you need to work on, which project you have already worked on, and which project needs submitting. And I have it, I have it on record, my record, and as a fact that I have deleted at least 3 final projects just because I forgot to put them on GitHub so that I have a record of them. That happens. It's totally natural, but it's not a good thing to happen because then you're stuck because you really don't have anything else to do. And yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I lost track of the question because this is something that I've wanted to bring up for a while now. So
Yeah, happens, right? Usually happens. But meanwhile, while you gather your thought stream, let's move on to Ankur. Like, we haven't talked much with him yet. Ankur, are you there?
Yep.
Hey, so
Yeah.
yeah. So what are your opinions about, like, are there any alternatives to GitHubs? And one of the other major things that I would like to know from you is, like, sure, I'm like, that was a point that Vishal also pointed out in the beginning of the chat. This is not a part of the GTU syllabus, right? Like, why do the students right now who are seeing this thing or who will be seeing this thing in the future, why do they, the students of GTU or any other student for that matter, need to care about GitHub? It's not in the syllabus, right? So, like, yeah, इसके तो marks ही नहीं मिलने वाले ना, तो इसका मैं पढ़ के करूँ क्या? So yeah, if you could shine some light on that.
Yeah, totally. So as the other panelists mentioned, they already mentioned the advantages of Git and GitHub. I think it's absolutely crucial, and it's not just the case for your usual software developers. I feel like this is becoming more and more relevant for system engineers, security engineers, network engineers, as orchestration and automation comes into the picture. There's a lot more coding for pretty much everyone in the computer field, not just developers. So having Git and knowing Git and GitHub is absolutely, you have to know that. Um, Throughout my experiences, I've only worked with Git and GitHub. I haven't worked with any other alternatives. So, yeah.
Yeah, so like, but the major question, like, few years back, while you were still in GIT, or while you were still a student, right? The major hindrance that was there, like, this syllabus में नहीं है, क्यों कर रहे हैं? This is not in our reference book. This is not in our textbook, right? So why should I do this? Industry में जाके कर रहे हैं ना, हाँ, तो तब जाके कर लेंगे. So that is kind of the general attitude that prevails everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, but every time you do a project, you need to learn, you need to start working with Git and GitHub so that you can get acclimatized to it when you work in the corporate. Also, another big point for all those people in college is that this is a great way for you to do for you to share your code with everyone. So when you're building your resume, having your own GitHub repository where you can showcase your projects, that really impresses recruiters.
You mentioned about recruiters. So, like, how can a recruiter see what have I done on GitHub? So could you shed some light on that?
Yes, so you can share your GitHub repository, you can make it public, right? So you can have it on your resume, and then they can basically look at your GitHub repository and see like what are the types of projects you've been working on, with that kind of thing.
Okay, that is fine. So let's talk about who is like, we're moving back to you, Mr. Vishal. So yeah, since you are a team leader and you've been in the software industry for like around 9 years, which is almost a decade, right? So yeah, and you must have recruited a lot of many people over a period of time, or you must have seen a lot of hiring and even firing. So like, what kind of role hiring and firing what kind of importance does version control play in the role of hiring and firing?
Actually, right now it's not a very crucial role, according to the version control of hiring and firing, as you say. But yes, actually, if you know the version control, then you have a very great chance to get into any institute or any company. Because right now in the corporate world, many companies will not start a project until the project will be added in the repository in Git, Mercury, or any other SVN or any other version control system. So yeah, it is a very great thing if you know the Git before you come into any corporate world. And I have some, I have some idea. I have some points that actually will encourage students that why should they learn Git while in the college. Let's say if I'm doing anything in my project and I saw that this is an issue, then at the same time they can go back with the previous commit and they can get their code right instantly with the Git. Now, if you lost your code, there's a backup always there. You can always get your backup. So I think in the Git itself, the students has to submit some things in the soft copies, right, Mithun? Yeah. So I think they can start making use of version control like Git, and they can share the projects files as well, and they can even if not even if it's not a project, it's only a file or a Word document, you can also put it on a version control and start committing, push, pull. The student can start, so that easily can learn with the practice, because the Git is something like you will learn only with the practice, not with any guidance or any tutorial. I think you will get to know only with the practicing on it. So as a team lead, if I tell you my experience, that I have to I have to do the code reviews. I have to check the task at the end of the day. So using version control like Git, it is very easy for me to check the code and the task that I have done by the user. I can also check that who actually had done any mistake, who actually added that code, when and why. Because anything while you committing, you have to give a proper message to it, that what changing are you going to do, means why there is a change and what is reason. And if you want to develop a new feature without any interfering with the current code, that can also be possible. So I think these are the reasons for the students that encourage them to learn Git even before coming into the corporate world. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah. Would you like, Tushar, would you like to share some light on that? So I'm like, sure, we have heard a bit of perspective from USA. That was Ankur. We've heard a perspective from our local Ahmedabad-based one of the recruiters, right? That was Mr. Vishal. So yeah, can you give us a bit of a German perspective? I know I'm not being totally correct. I know, but sure. Can you give us a bit of a perspective? How's it going on?
Yeah, I absolutely want to give my opinion about this. So if you ask me in simple language, if a student come to me and says, okay, why should I learn Git in my college life? I would just say that you all are gonna do the final year project. I guess that's still the structure in the university, that you have to do your final year project. Now imagine the scenario: you are working on a project, you have a service which has 20 files, for example. The code is running perfectly fine, everything is up to the mark, and next day you want to work on some new feature. You are working on that feature and something is broken. You don't know what exactly is broken. Now, yesterday you had perfectly working fine code, and today you have code which is not working at all. How you will fix that? You will have to go through all the files. The simplest you can do is you can just revert back all the changes you made today, and you can get back the previous version running, right? But that's again a tedious task. Just imagine you have worked on, you have write like 1,000 lines of code, and you realize that your code is not working. If you are using GitHub, or Git for that matter, if you are using version control, and at the end of the day, you commit your code and you push your code to the repository. So today, if I am working and I see that code is working fine, I commit it and I submit it to the repository, right? Tomorrow I am working again and I see I work like 1,000 lines of code, I work 20-25 files, and my code is not working. Then it would be much easier to compare your current code with the previous running version of the code. So that's the biggest motivation I have for students to learn the Git. even today when I am working, I work like 10 to 6 job, right? So I still have a lot of time after office, before office as well. I work on my personal projects as well. So whenever I'm working on these personal projects, I write files or I write very minimal code. And the first thing I do is to push my code to the Bitbucket or GitHub basically. And yeah, that's the great motivation every student have, to using GitHub. You don't have to work really hard if something is broken. And yeah, this is just one thing when you are working alone on your project. But imagine you are 3 or 4 people working on the project, then it's not gonna be like you guys are always together, right? You may have to work after college. You are at your home, your other team member is at their home. Then it becomes really easy to share your code, share your work together. And like Vishal said, in GitHub you can track each and every line of code, who wrote this, when he wrote this or she wrote this. So it's really important in that way. And just a little bit about alternative I want to say is that I happen to have worked on Git for a long time, and I also used SVN in my very first company. The disadvantage SVN has is really bad. Like you have to lock a file that you are working on right now, so the other person cannot work on that particular file. Yeah, so imagine you have 10 file, you have just 2 files and 3 developers. So the one developer will always sit idle in that scenario. So that's a like really bad disadvantage in SVN. I'm not sure whether they have improved this or not, but that's one disadvantage. And in terms of service provider like GitHub or Bitbucket, I have used GitHub, I have used Bitbucket, I have used GitLab. Yeah, these 3 I remember I have used, and GitHub is again very popular. You will find all the open source projects in GitHub. You can easily use any of the project. You can make your service actually open source. And with GitHub, you can, with personal account, you cannot create a private repository. But if you are getting this enterprise edition in student life, you have that privilege. You can create private repository as well. If you don't want to share it with everyone, you can create private repository. So that's also one biggest advantage comes with GitHub GitHub Enterprise Edition actually.
Yeah, like I was not aware about the SVN thing until you mentioned right now. So yeah, that's something I got to know today. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, sure. Go ahead.
No, I was just finishing that. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Rasesh, would you like to share about like what would be the difference between private and public repository kind of thing that Tushar just mentioned? Like
Sure.
There are these new people, like completely zero knowledge people right now who are watching this live stream, right? And sure, they do not know what GitHub is. Fine, we are giving an idea, and they would like to know what a public or private repository is. So sure, if you could explain that a bit.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. But just to add to what Tushar mentioned earlier, he gave a very good example that you might lose your code, and I have experienced that a lot while I was in college. That I had formatted my laptop for like multiple times, and then I had to go to my professor and say that like, Sejal madam or Sonali ma'am, I lost my code. I need some time to work on it again. So basically, what I would say that please use this version control system to present your final year projects. It's very important that you give them the code. It's also helpful that your professors can give you some guidance by looking at your code early in the stage of the project. And yeah, we were talking about private and public repositories. So private is basically that once you have your code in it, only you or the person you are trying to share can only see that, or you are adding that person into that. Public is like basically anyone with that link could use that and see that all over it. So basically making it public would also, I guess, allows other people to fork your code and start working on it. I think there are, this is the main difference between the private and public repositories.
Right, yeah, I think that covers a lot of ground. Right. So, sure, fine. How hard can it be? That is the question. Like, why, Suraj? Yeah, how hard can it be? So, how hard was it for you to learn this thing, GitHub, while you were a student?
That is a very excellently phrased question, I'm going to say. Uh,
I do know
Okay.
how hard it was, but sure, let's hear it from you.
Yeah. No, so we did try and set up version control for our final year project, if I remember correctly. But it is supposed to be a team effort in the first place. If everyone else is not going to be a part of it, then it really doesn't work. But if you're trying to set it up for yourself, it's rather simple, especially for the students who are going to be using this right now. It's you. There are flyers that I've seen that were sent by GitHub for students to learn from, and there are specific flows that are designed for people to understand how to work with version control and the whole idea of having branches. So all in all, it really isn't that difficult as long as you remember exactly the logic of creating branches and the logic for merging them. There are a lot of very good UI clients that you can use that let you perform all these actions very intuitively. The GitHub desktop client is one of them. At work, we use Git extensions, but there are others like GitKraken, which is among those tools that you get a license for if you sign up for the student pack. So all in all, if you want to quantify it in, say, amount of time, it's perhaps a couple of hours of work, maybe 15, 20 minutes of reading and an hour of practice. But it's really not difficult to pick up version control once you have the idea of, working in parallel and maintaining different branches of your code. If you have that down, then you're pretty good. So
Yeah, that was quite well. Ankur, are you there with us? Ankur?
Yeah, just
Yeah. How hard was it for you, or as let's say someone from your batch, or any of your friends or colleagues who to get your hands on once you got into these industries, right? When you started working, so what up with all of a sudden you have to know this tool, learn this to implement this because the whole company is working on it, and you are the only one who is not working on it. So yeah, how hard was it to integrate yourself into the atmosphere?
yeah. So initially, as Suraj mentioned, right? It's once you have the concept down. After that, it's just these days getting resources is pretty easy. It's really the dedication that's lacking. Getting resources, I mean, to learn Git and GitHub, there's a vast amount of videos out there. So I'd agree with Suraj that it is rather easy once you have the concept down.
Okay, so once you have the concept down, it's quite easy. So how long did it take? Just an example, okay? I do not want the exact number of days that it took for you to learn or anyone else, but just an approximate ballpark. So once you get into the corporate, you already have a lot of work going on, right? So you already are being put on with the projects. You have to learn how the projects are, what the projects are, and the definitions, and so on and so forth. Along with that, how long does it take to do that? And would you say that had you learned, or you in the sense generally anyone, right? Had a student already learned this and gone into corporate, would it place him at an advantage over there in the company from day one? I would like to have your opinion on that.
Yes, absolutely. So directly learning this at a workplace, you'll be very cautious about it. You'll be, in general, you'll just be very cautious about it because you know that, if you mess up right now, you can mess up their code base. And the code bases are large, any mistakes, and in the beginning you're new as well. So any mistake, you're kind of scared to make mistakes. So if you already have experience with this, if you already have worked with this, it's just easier. You're more comfortable making those changes, working with it. So definitely recommend learning this before getting into the corporate world.
Yeah, obviously, that's what this whole talk and session is all about, right? So that we can tell our current students or the new students, sure, college is able to provide you with this resources and technology, so do use it, right? So circling back to you, Tushar.
Yeah.
Because I guess since you have said, I think you are the only one who has worked with multiple different technologies over here, or multiple different offerings of the same version control idea. Yeah. So like,
I,
how hard was it to like for you to learn each and every one of them and so on?
yeah, sure. So, like we all know by now that there is only one Git is basically a software, and there are providers, right? So GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, these all are the providers. And SVN, I learned like SVN was not very good. Like it wasn't really hard, and to be honest, I didn't learn it much because I worked with SVN only for like 6 months or something. But Git is pretty easy, I guess, for me because I was already. I mean, if you are writing code and you are familiar with terminal and this all things, it's pretty easy. But if you are like starting with terminal for the first time, then you might feel that okay, I have to write all the commands and everything. So it's not really hard, I would say. But if you understand the concept and master it, it becomes really easy. And yeah, even after some time you feel that you are comfortable with these all things, you may make mistakes. It's not that you will be perfect after like a month or something. You may make mistakes. And talking about learning curve, I can definitely recommend everyone to, if you are starting with Git, I can definitely recommend that you start with command lines. So instead of using I this is my personal opinion, instead of using like tools, I don't remember the exact tools that are available these days, but Git for desktop is, I guess, one of them where you can just, instead of running commands, you can uh, do things visually. Like you can right click and you see that, okay, commit this part of code. You can see the difference. That's really good thing as well that it's available. But if you really want to master, I would really recommend, to master with the commands. You start typing commands, you forget it, you write it down in a piece of paper and you keep it near your laptop, and whenever you need, type command. That's main recommendation I have when you are starting to learn Git.
So you're basically talking about having a cheat sheet.
It's not really a cheat sheet, right? It's a list of command. It's tutorial. So I guess just have it with you and yeah, you use them.
Yeah, because at the end of this whole thing, I'm like, obviously GIT college has designed a cheat sheet which will be freely available to all of the students. Make sure it's on Google Drive. A shareable link will be shared to everyone. Whoever wants it can have it. So yeah, basically it's a list of commands, as you said. But I would like to say it's a cheat sheet because it lets you cheat by not remembering the commands.
Yeah, we can say that. Yeah, you don't have to remember all the commands, but I guess after you work with Git for a month or so, you will definitely remember them because there are not plenty of commands. If you, yeah, I don't want to scare students with the number, so I'll just say there are some commands, but it's easy to remember. I would say that's really easy. And after once you master Git, like once you have worked like 2-3 years, you don't even need to write full commands. I actually have make aliases for each command. So for example, if I want to commit, rather writing git commit, I just type gc, and then that makes my life easier. So, but for the beginning, you can definitely use all these commands. It might seem like a really effort, but it's really not.
Okay. So let's continue with this. I'm like, sure, you are the one who has worked with the variety of versions available out there. And so what kind of disaster stories do you have? I guess you must have one for each version that you worked upon, right? So we would surely like to hear something. If it is not protected by your NDA disclosures and all, so if you can share anything, like not mentioning an employee name would be fine enough, I guess. We don't want to shame anyone, but yeah, if you could share some stories like what happened wrong, or you had fun because someone did something wrong.
There are plenty of stories. I have actually worked with I guess 5 to 6 companies by now, and some startups, some big companies, and different domains. So I have really many stories, but I will not bother with all the stories. But I would say one story I remember, precisely. I joined one company and it was a really early stage startup. There were like 10 or 12 people in the team. And when I joined, there was one, all the files and all the code base in backup, very typical format, not using version controlling. They have one folder, they deploy that code, they make it as a backup. Working on the new folder, they deploy that and then they make it as a backup. So when I joined this company, I was really surprised. Like, what is this? This is like you cannot work like that. And then I introduced version controlling to them, and then they all were like, okay, this is something we should have started long time back. And yeah, that's one thing. And if we are talking about disaster, in early stages, I have lost so many codes. Like I'm working and there is one command. I guess you guys will remember this: git reset -- hard origin master. So if you run this command, your local changes are gone and like really gone. You cannot get them back. So I used to run this command for cleaning my repository, and then I used to realize that okay, I had one file that I didn't want to clean, and yeah, these things used to happen. But these days, actually, with IDE, you can get the code back with IDE's own version control. So Git is one thing, and when you are using IDE like IntelliJ or Eclipse, they have their own version controlling history actually. So you just go to the IDE and you can check your all the versions. Even though it's discarded from the Git, you can definitely get that back now. Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. So coming back to Rasesh, what were your laptop stories that you had formatted my laptop and all those things? If you could highlight something with Git. I mean, okay, don't give ideas to my students so that they can harass me. But yeah, sure. Sure, go ahead.
So I think it was my final year project, and I was supposed to present it, and somehow I lost the project that I was working on, the folder. And the interesting thing was that I didn't had any backup. So I had to ask my professors to like basically I need some time to go back, like circle back, and I need to fix few things. And in the meantime, I had to work throughout the night to fix my code, like get whatever I had the last code known to my like other project worker who had it. So basically, I didn't had any. I was not using this version control in college, and that led to the disaster, like keeping me up at nights working on this project, finishing it up, and figuring out like, okay, how do I present it the next day? Thanks to professors being kind and letting me, pass my graduation from GIT. But yeah, that was one of the thing around. I feel like I would have had Git at that time. It would have saved my day.
Yeah, we all think so because we as faculties, we are very familiar with the stories, like which is pretty much a meme right now. Dog ate my homework kind of thing. So yeah, my laptop got formatted. But anyway, sure. So yeah, we're moving back to Vishal. Are you there with us, Vishal?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, what are your since you're there, since your team lead, you must have had a lot of stories to tell. Like, what did somebody do wrong that it like ruined your Friday evening? That's the worst thing that someone can do, right? Deleting a production server on Friday evening. So yeah, share some stories that we can have a laugh at.
Sure. Actually, there are many stories where actually team made some mistake while using HPN or Git like version controls. And yeah, actually we have faced some issues with going live as well. But I want to share a very fresh story that we have now due to Corona pandemic. So when the shutdown came in March, so all companies have to shut their places, and we all have to work from home from the day it got shut. So actually it's very difficult to get that code because the code is there in the office's PC. So and the teammates are actually at the different places. So I think with this version control, it is very useful for us to just pull those files from the Git to our local machines and then start working together. So due to this version control only, we can collaborate right now. We can do the things. We can check the code. We can taste some things as well. So I think it's very useful in this case, in this actually Corona pandemic, that version control is there with us so that we can smoothly work. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, right? So you people are actually utilizing what Git or any kind of, like, let's say not Git, but any kind of version control provides you with, like,
Yeah.
uh, ability to work remotely. Now that everyone actually has to work remotely for at least short, foreseeable future.
Actually, yeah, we have also an option to work remotely as well. But for example, if there is any network issue or if someone is not able to connect to a remote machine, then yeah, they can use the version control to get the code and start working on their PC as well. And at the end of the day, they can merge their files to the repository, and by then, I will check the files and all that.
Yeah, that is nice. That is like actually proper professional world experiences that you mentioned. So going back to a bit of the student world, going back to Varun.
Yeah, hi.
So I remember you saying a few moments back that you would have 3 projects that you deleted. So yeah, can you please tell like what happened and all those, like,
Yeah.
had you used any kind of version control, would have that happened? Would have that not happened? And like any other story that you might have.
Well, the example that I gave was actually while using a version control. It was GitHub that I was using. But the problem is that GitHub doesn't do a synchronous transfer of files unless you turn the setting on that says that as soon as you put the files in your local repository, make sure that it's updated in the global one. And I turned that off because I don't know why, but I did that and I assumed that my files were being already uploaded and synchronized with the global thing, and that didn't work. So yeah, and then I deleted the files from repository because I needed the space. I'm always out of space. So what happened was all of my work got deleted simply because it wasn't there on any base. Luckily uh I just had like a backup on an external hard drive which I could work on, fail my classes, which is nice. But yeah, what Tushar said, learn those commands before you actually try to use them. Uh, that was kind of like a knee-jerk reaction that shouldn't have happened, but yeah.
So Ankur,
and they weren't perfectly. They had their limited experience with programming, but zero experience with version control. And it did happen. Okay, I was on leave for a while. I was remotely supervising the backend development intern, and he'd covered up quite. He'd done quite a bit of work on a lot of how do I put this? He was working on APIs, some of Google, some of Twitter, analytics, and the like. And there was a lot of code there that he had written that wasn't really designed with the sort of implementation we had in mind. And once I was back from my leave, I looked at him what changes to make, in the sense which of the code wasn't really necessary. And as it turns out, because I wasn't really there to talk to him and to instruct him exactly specifically that he has to use version control for all the major changes that he makes to the code, it turns out he had not committed any of the code at all. This is easily, it's close to maybe 1,000 lines of code, different third-party APIs that he's working with. He deleted the code that he's understood might have been unnecessary. It wasn't unnecessary, it was just code that needed a fair bit of refactoring. He deleted half of the work, committed it, pushed it, and went home. The next day I came back and I was like, okay, we're going to have to plan how to work on those modules next. So let's maybe drop a roadmap right now. And he was like, but what code would I do? So that was perhaps 7 hours of work for him. And yeah, fine. I mean, 7 hours of work for him as a beginner, it's easy to cover up once he manages to gather more aptitude. And he did. He was with us for about 3.5 months, and down the line, he really got better and he understood the importance and the perils of understanding how version control works. But that's the sort of thing that really happens when you don't use a tool you have at your hand. There's a lot of work that you may have done. You may not see quite currently what it might be useful for, or maybe you don't see, okay, this is work. It has been done. And right now, we are not really lacking for storage. We are lacking for organizational tools. That's what Jira or Trello provides. Trello, I believe Trello is one of the integrations the student pack provides. Yes, sir?
Yes, it does provide Trello.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Okay? You have tools. You have several tools. You have laptops that boot up in 10 seconds and have more storage than any of us had when we were kids. I'm a 90s kid. It really still blows my mind when my laptop has like 500 gigs of super fast storage, when my first computer had like 40 gigabytes, and the first computer I ever used had memory in the megabytes, black and white monitor. So right now, you're not really looking at technology hampering you as much as organizational structures. And that's where it becomes more important. Okay, you have something like GitHub, you have Slack to coordinate all of your work communication. All these tools work so well together that it behooves one to understand how to use them, just to avoid, layer 8 errors where the human is the person who messes up. So that's the general idea, एक दिन का काम उड़ गया intern का, हमारे लिए शायद कुछ नहीं है, but for the intern that was a day's worth of learning. Just lost in the air.
That was a bit of a philosophical flair at the end.
We've all seen Tron Legacy, so we know how to do it.
Yeah, we all have. We all
I'm
have.
sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, I tend to digress a lot. I'm gonna
Yeah.
switch my mic off now.
So,
Mithun, if we have time for 1 minute, then I would like to share one thing which I feel is really important.
sure, go
Just
ahead.
one-
Mic is yours. The mic is yours.
Yeah. So what I was trying to say is, we where I am working right now, it's a customer-facing application. It's like a Flipkart, right? So when we are on weekends, when we are at home, if something is wrong, when we are getting exceptions, we have automatic alerts. So we receive a call, right? Now, on weekends, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to fix the bug. If something has happened and we have been receiving so many exceptions on weekend, what we want to do is we don't want to fix the bug. We don't want to start typing code and everything, right? So what we do is, using version controlling, we just revert back our code on production to the previous version, which was stable. So if we are not using version controlling, we may have to find a bug and we have to fix that. But since we are using that, we just need to find the last version which was working, and we deploy that version to the production, and that's it. It's like half an hour work, and bug is fixed. Everyone is happy. So that's really, I feel, important. That's also one of the important point for using version controlling.
That's actually true. And yeah, one of those things I noticed in the student pack is they do provide what is a CI/CD pipeline tool for deployments and the like. It's very handy. We use Jenkins at work, Jenkins and direct Heroku integration with GitHub. Very useful. You can immediately revert a build automatically if the build fails.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, pretty important stuff. Great addition. Thank you.
Yeah, would anyone like to add something to that? I guess then, yeah, I think we have answered majority of the questions that we have. And from the public, the audience, you got a few questions. And like one of the common repeating question that has been is, how to contribute to open source in GitHub? So if Tushar or Vishal, if you could please take that.
I can take that. I mean, I have been open source contributor since long time now. So, when we talked about private and public repository, would be, I forgot to mention that Rashesh explained really well actually about private and public repository. So when you create something, you can put it as a private, or you can put it for the world to see that. Yeah. And when we are talking about contributing to open source, this is what exactly happens. So there is one biggest community in programming, which is called Apache, right? We use so many products of Apache. One of them is Tomcat. Apache has some big data components as well, like Hadoop or Hive or these all things. Countless, basically. So Apache has their own repository, I cannot call it a repository, but a domain where there are multiple repositories. So you go to the Apache's domain and you see that, okay, this is the code and that's open source. You can use that code basically. So for example, Tomcat, right? You are using Tomcat. Everyone must be using Tomcat, I guess, in final year projects. So if you are using Tomcat and you feel that, okay, this is bug in Tomcat, or you see that, okay, there is something missing in Tomcat. So what you do is you try to submit your code using like fixing a bug or let's say implementing a new feature. You submit your code to Apache. Apache reviews your code and they merge it. So you are technically contributor of that open source project Apache Tomcat. So that's how open source contribution works basically. Give you another example. If I have a application which is like simple, I'm trying to recollect any good example that we can relate to with the real life, I give you one example. Yeah, Apache. So big data, right? If you guys know about big data, there are so many components from using big data: Hadoop, Hive, HBase, Spark, and so many things. So these all components are open source, so everyone can use it for free. Yeah. And in my previous company, what we did is we were using those components, but we realized that the security provided by the default service providers, default authors, is not sufficient. So what we did is we tried to build our custom wrappers on those components, and we submitted it to the original author. So that's how we all were, contributor to the open source repository. And one thing to remember is that open source contribution is really, really important when you go to, corporate life. You add this in your resume that, okay, I'm open source contributor at this particular repository, and that really impresses the recruiter. I can definitely assure you that.
Yeah, those are some actually really valid points that you put out of there. Yeah, Vishal, would you like to add something to that, if possible?
Yeah, sure. Actually, Tushar has explained very well. But the main reason is the difference between public and private is that some projects are actually on the public level, so that all around the world can contribute their code in the public repository. But actually, if I go for the corporate, then yeah, most of the repository, or I can say like all of them actually are private repositories, so that the only team members can work on the private repositories. Because when actually you want the code of any project, then actually you have username and password of that repository. So the private repository will always have the credentials, and without that you cannot access that repository and code. And only the difference is that public repository, you don't have to get the credentials, and it is easily available when you want. So there are actually on the GitHub also, I think there are many projects going on, so that the students can take the advantage and add their code as well. Because and when they add their code to the repository, first they will get reviewed, and then it will get submitted to the project. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
one thing on side, Mithul, is that when you are a developer, it's really important that you showcase your work.
Yeah.
So if you guys know, in most of the resume or in some portal when you're applying for a job in company portal, they ask for your LinkedIn profile as well as your GitHub profile. So when you share your GitHub profile, that means you are sharing with them your work that you have made public to be seen by everyone. So for example, I'm a developer. When I'm writing a code and I see that, okay, this is really wonderful code, and I think I just want to show it off. I don't want to make money out of it, and that code might not be useful for anyone, but I just want to show it off. So what I do is I make it as a public repository, and when I share my GitHub profile to somebody, some recruiter, he sees that, okay, this is this candidate's profile, and this guy has written this particular application and he has write this code. So they can actually see the way I code, the way I write code, how clean I write the code, how I structure my code, how I design my application. So these all things is really important. So when you are a developer, it's really easy. When you are doing it, it doesn't matter if it's helpful to anyone or not. It's just, when you are writing something, you feel that this is really wonderful and you want to show it off, just create a public repository on GitHub and put it down there and share it with everyone. Don't be afraid of it.
So basically, you're saying that if you want to grow professionally, or even personally for that matter, you need to share things.
Absolutely.
Be it your personal life, so you need to share your life with some person, or you need to share your emotions with some person, have to discuss it out. And now, okay, that apart, but talking about work, specifically for your coding related work, and it's not just that this tool is related only to like Python developers or Java developers, right? So even Arduino code is available over there, or
Which
any
code?
Related Arduino boards or Raspberry Pi boards.
I mean, as long as you write a code and you want to share it, it's available.
Exactly, right? So,
Yeah.
so this platform is not specific to any language. So we can say that using a very heavy technical word, language agnostic. You can even
Yeah.
write a C code if for all you care. You can even share your C code with your friends, right? And you can even write a high level R code in R language or any serious stuff and have that also available. But the important point is, the most important takeaway is share. If you share
Yeah.
with someone, you are growing yourself and you are making others also grow.
Why is Linux open source? Why everyone can submit code to that?
Oh, please don't start me on that. Please don't start me on that. We can
I
have
tell
like
you one
two
example.
hours discussion on that.
Yeah, I give you one small example. I mentioned about this project I was working in my previous company to provide like a security wrapper for the default configuration of big data components. We worked on that project, and one company in USA, I guess you guys may know this, Hortonworks, if you guys know. It's big data company, Hortonworks. They acquired our project for real money. They gave us money, they acquired our project, and then they open sourced it. Why? Because they wanted to show off their work that, okay, we have developed at our company, we have developed this. So once big companies like Mercedes and this all, they were clients. So if you see that code and you see, okay, this is really amazing, and you want to contact the company for better integration, just like GitHub, anyone can use it for free, right? But if you want to use it at your university level or at your company level, you want to get premium account. So it's like that. You showcase your work. If people are interested, they will contact you.
So yeah, basically this is your work portfolio. Sure. And you do not have to upload your resume. Your work actually speaks for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I think that is a really good point at which I think we should start summarizing. So yeah, one of the major points that we have covered is what is GitHub, any other options that a student might have or anyone has, and like why they should go with the GitHub Enterprise Plan that GIT is currently now in a position to provide access to, is because of 70 plus various professional grade tools and even the premium and paid plans available to them freely. This also leads them to have a easy, what do you call, I'm not able to get the word, but they have an easy transition when they move to corporate. So that is kind of one of the things that has been coming up amongst all of you. And once you get into corporate, you have to work with either one or the other kind of version control system. And doing that saves you a lot of headaches over the weekends, specifically, if not just weekends, but overall it saves you a lot of headaches. And yeah, this is your work. This speaks for you. So down the line, if you want to change companies, change jobs, sure, show the recruiters your GitHub profile, provided that your work is open and for public to see. And yeah, that speaks volumes for what you have done. What have others made as contribution? Where have you made all the contributions? So that kind of shows them which category into their company or which work profile, or which sub work domain should they put you in, where they can use you efficiently and your talent can also be used efficiently to pay you back. I think that kind of sums it up. The crux of all the discussions that we'll be having since last 1.5 hour. Right? I think we should now move on towards demo. It's a small 10 minutes demo. Suraj Jala, and as you might have noticed, another student, that is Abhi. So let's give them a moment or two while they're running their setup for the demo. And meanwhile, I would like to thank all of you, like Mr. Vishal, Tushar, Ankur, Suraj, Varun, and Rasesh, like to be present over here. Specifically, Rasesh, like because 4:30 a.m. he wouldn't wake up for college work at 4:30. But no, right now, today he's here. He's present over here to share his thoughts and experiences. And so are every one of you. Right? Thank you all so much for being a part of this launch session that we have. It was really wonderful having you all over here. We might, going ahead, we might do such more live sessions wherein we can have like just one or two of you present and having like our actual proper technical demo more than a talk demo kind of a thing, right? So we'll be keenly looking forward to having that with all of you. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we'll take a bit of a pause right now so that we can transition to the demo.
So, Midul sir, thank you for having us, first of all. And do we need to be here right now? Or?
No. You can leave.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, guys. It was nice meeting everyone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tushar. So, yeah, whoever wishes to leave can leave. Suraj, how are we looking on the demo? When can we start?
Yeah, just give me a couple of minutes. I have everything here. Is the screen being shared right now? Can't hear you, sir.
I put a placeholder over there. You are not live right now, but I think you should be soon enough because we are losing audience. And it's been nearly 1.5 hours. Sorry to put the burden on you.
No. Fair enough. It's fine.
Audio?
Chica. Oh. College GitHub organization.
Yes.
And this diagram.
Yeah, you are live now.
Wonderful. Okay, so for the demonstration, I believe this is a flyer, a pamphlet, a cheat sheet. I don't know, cheat sheet sounds like the best term. This is a cheat sheet that will be distributed to all students of GIT soon enough. This contains a very I won't say comprehensive, but a very basic set of commands and explanations about how you use Git and how you use Git on GitHub or the GitHub service. So you can read it later. I'm not going to read everything out to you right now. This is not a YouTube tutorial by an Indian student. What we are going to do is we are going to create a repository We are going to add some code to it. We are going to make some changes to that code. And I say we because there's going to be two people who are going to do this. So I'm Suraj for the people who are just joining, or for the people who have forgotten, or for the people who care. And I have a student with me, a student of GIT named Abhi. And right now we are going to demonstrate how to use GitHub. So first of all, we create a new repository. Repository name, I don't know. What should I name it?
Let's say GitHub live launch demo. It's a bit of a long name, but sure, that can work, I guess.
I've already used the funniest name I could think of, so we're not going to be able to do that. Okay, no issues. We'll call it GitHub demo 2020 in camel case, because this is a web service. Easy for people to get confused. We don't want to confuse anyone. We create the repository. So here we are. We have a repository and we have a link here. Now this is what you use if you want to work on this particular project on your local machine, be it your desktop, be it your laptop. In some cases, you can also do it on phone, although we won't be doing that right now. That's only for disasters and experienced people. And here I have a shell. Now, there are different kinds of shells that you can access. This one, for example, is a Ubuntu shell, a bash shell running on an Ubuntu instance on my laptop. And now I have the link here. I want to copy this link. I've copied this link. I want to copy that project onto my machine. So I'll use git clone and the URL. Now, in this case, I have to log in with my GitHub credentials, which I proceed to do. You'll see a lot of this happening. That's just the way of life with Ubuntu. Oh, it's warning us. We appear to have cloned an empty repository. Yes,
Suraj, if you could, Suraj, if you could zoom in a little bit, because your font is a bit small.
Say when.
A little bit more. Yeah, I think that should be good enough. Yeah.
Okay.
This should work. Yes.
Okay. So it says that we have cloned the repository successfully, although it's empty. We'll do a check to see. Yes, so we have a repository here, GitHub demo 2020. It's the same name as the repository on GitHub. We are going to switch to that folder. And here, we are going to write some code. For your convenience and to not write too many lines of code, you're going to use Python. And this is going to be a very basic Python program. It's going to do what everyone does the first time. Going to print hello world. We'll call this file main.py. Now we've created a file, added it to the empty repository. And what we're going to do now is we're going to commit this change to the project, to the repository. We are going to commit this change and we are going to push it to the remote so that a copy of the change. So first, you add all the changes that you make. Then you can check the status of your project currently, whether you've added any files or whether there are any changes pending by using git status. So we have no commits, but we have one new file. That's main.py. We're going to commit this change now so that it stays backed up on a local copy of the project. You won't be able to see this because I've zoomed in too much. And I'm not able to see this either, so I'm going to have to. So that change has been committed now. There's nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. And now we are going to push these changes back to GitHub. So an explanation. Push is what you do when you're pushing, when you're essentially taking your changes and putting them somewhere else, away from your machine. That is what pushing is. Origin is the place from where you the GitHub project, which you clone your repository, which in this case is GitHub. And the branch that you're currently working on, as is indicated here, is the very first branch that is created for any repository. This is the master branch. So you're going to git push master. I believe it is now self-explanatory. This is where you read the music. My password right. Yay. So the changes have now been put to the remote. I hand over the demonstration to Abhi, who is going to pull the report, pull those changes, and make some to the code. Abhi, over to you.
Yeah, sure. First of all, we are going to clone the repository. So I'm opening this repository. You have two options, clone or download. I'm going to just copy the HTTP URL. Then I will open my shell and say git clone and URL. Actually, sorry for the disturbance. So I just clone the repository, as you can see it here. First of all, I'm going to use the cheat sheet. As you can see, they are using git branch command. So I will use the same git branch. Okay. I have to first of all go to the repository. Name is git. Yep, GitHub demo. Yep, and I will say git status. As you can see, I have nothing to comment, so I will first check the branches, git branch, and as you can see, I only have one master branch, and now I want to create a new branch. So as for the cheat sheet, I'm going to create a new branch, git branch, and name of the branch will be feature command branch. Okay, so let's check out branches. We have two branches and star indicates I'm currently in the master branch. So what I'm going to do is git check out feature master branch and git branch. As you can see, currently I'm in this branch. So I will open this code git and I think that it was main.py. So yep. Let's say I have command just save it, and we will use git status. So they are showing me that one file is modified and it's not been added. So I'm going to do is git add name of the file, name.py. Yep, it is added. Now we'll go to commit it. Git commit -m indicates message, and we will say comments added to the main file. Okay, git status. As you can see, nothing to comment. Now I'm going to push it on the web. So git push origin. Now here origin is the name of your repository by default, and the branch is my feature master branch. As you can see it here, so I'm going to do is feature master branch. And yep, it is done. So now I'm going to open GitHub Web and I'm going to refresh it. So as you can see, they are telling me to compare and pull requests. So I'm going to just do it, and they are asking me some reviewers. Currently, I have no reviewers available. So I will just say someone, and I will just create a pull request. Yep. And I'm going to my handle screen back here. So can check anyone my pull request?
That was pretty good. So, yeah. So that was great. So Avi has made some changes, which he did in a feature branch. As you can, I believe you can see the diagram now. So here's what I did. I created a master branch. Avi made cloned the repository, created a feature branch, committed some changes. He submitted a pull request. Now, to the person who manages the master branch or manages the entire repository to review those changes, and if it seems correct to add them, or if they're required to make those changes themselves, or to select a change, or to just reject the pull request. In this case, however, the change is very innocuous. It's being added. They're just going to merge that change. So we go demo 2020. We have a pending pull request. Now, everyone can hear me, right?
Yes,
Can
you are
everyone
audible.
hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Otherwise,
Yes,
I'm just imagining.
yes, we have
So
not gone to sleep.
here we have a piece post. I know, it's the life I've lived. So here we are. We can see here, we can look meds. Because a pull request may not necessarily contain scope, may contain several. In this case, we can look at individual comments and the changes involved therein. Here we are. Now, okay, what do we have? We have a comment that's been added. So I believe the change looks fine. The basics of the base branch merge can be performed automatically. So I am going to run this. Comments added to it. I don't even need to edit this. Confirm the merge and waiting. The pull request has been successfully merged and closed. If necessary, the branch can now be deleted. And now we'll go back to we'll do get fetch first. To fetch will change that we made to the repo generally. I'm really sorry that this is happening, but I have a part is duplicated for my own good. It worked. Yeah. Okay. So with git fetch, we can see that there has been added a common branch that was added by Abhi. We can see that the master branch has had a change. You can see this commit and the current commit here. So we know that being the master branch. So now I do get origin master. Another potential disappointment. Right. Okay, so fast forward. Main.py has had 4 changes, 3 additions and 1 removal, as is written down here. And now if we switch to the code, we can see the comment that Avi has added. It is now in the master branch. So I believe that that's a very clear demonstration of the diagram here of the sort of changes you can make. Now, in a more practical context, when you'll be using GitHub for your projects, you'll have multiple people who will have their own feature branches that will be merged into master from time to time. And that's where parts like these will come in handy. Okay, you will have comments that you can add before you merge a pull request to request more changes that are necessary. And then once those comments are answered and once those commits have been made, then you can submit complete the pull request and merge it into master, and you'll have all of those changes. So in that respect is where GitHub or just Git in general becomes a very powerful tool for collaboration, because it allows you to organize all the discussions that you'd have about your project or about your code and have them documented somewhere accessible, easily understandable. So yeah, that is the general appeal. I hope you found this demonstration helpful. I'm going to hand the communication back to Mitul sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that was quite handy. Like for a brief demo right now, like after all this talk. So yeah, that was a quite short and sweet demo that we had. Yeah, like for any further queries, should I give out your email address and phone number to the people, to the students of GIT?
I still have access to my college email address. Please spam me there all you like.
No, I am not giving out that. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that was quite good. I mean, yeah, I expect a lot of people will be coming up to the people or the students who know about this. And there are a few students, like there are a bunch of 10, 15 students that I know who are a bit active in GitHub. One of them is Abhi, who is already currently on the screen. Another guy that you haven't been seeing throughout this whole almost 2-hour call is Pranav, who has been helping out me a lot behind the scenes, doing a lot of graphics work, doing a lot of stream settings right now, because he's controlling the stream right now, right? So I'd like to show his face on screen if that is possible enough.
Please do.
So yeah, that was one of the backbone of this stream that we did. And that would have not been possible. Obviously, it was not possible without you, the panel members. Few of them left because of their prior commitments, and which is completely fine. And few of us are still with us over here. I would like to formally conclude this call, meeting, launch program right now. We have had quite a good discussion, and we have opened up avenues for having further future more discussions. Maybe we can get more into the depth of certain topics that we need, but that depends on like where we are going, how the students are doing the projects, and if they have any specific doubts regarding any kind of project that they are working upon. Right? I would like to thank you all again for being a part of this, and let's end this call.